This is the tutorial on changing the subject with the formula. Okay, so this is a very simple mathematics concept. We're going to start with number 1, whereby we'll be making x the subject of the formula in these expressions. After that, we'll move on to number 2, and we'll make r the subject of the formula in these two expressions. Okay, so let's start with a. Okay, so question a is stating that the root of x plus a is equal to p. So we want to make x the subject of the formula in this question, right? This is question a. Right, so the first step in this question, we're going to square both sides, right? In order to remove the root sign at the left-hand side of the equation, right? So at the right-hand side of the equation, we'll be left with p squared, right? Then at the left-hand side, to the power 2 will cancel the root sign, leaving us with x plus a. X plus a equal to p squared, right? So we want to make x the subject of the formula. Therefore, a, positive a, will fly across the equal sign, becoming negative a. Therefore, x will be equal to p squared minus a. Therefore, x is now subject with the formula, right? So moving on to question B. So before we move on to question B, do me a favor and subscribe, and I'll always be here to help you improve your mathematics. So with that being said, let's move on to question B. I will rewrite question B on my answer sheet. So question B here is saying that 9 over x squared minus b is equal to q. Okay, so that's question B. Okay, so this is question B on a clean sheet now. Okay, so we want to make x subject to the formula, right? So the first step we're going to want to do is to multiply each and every term in this expression with x squared in order to remove x squared from the denominator, right? So multiply by x squared here, b times x squared, then q again times x squared, right? So each and every term in this expression is being multiplied by x squared. So x squared will cancel x squared, right? So the first term in the expression will be now 9 minus b. B times x squared is bx squared minus bx squared equal to qx squared, right? I hope I have everyone in. So the second step of the second step now, we're going to want to group like terms, right? Each and every term, including x, I'm going to rearrange it, right? So doing a little rearrangement, we will find that negative bx squared, I'm going to put it across the equation, right? So whenever a term jumps across an equal sign, it will change its sign. So we have negative bx squared. So when it jumps across the equal sign, it will become positive bx squared. So therefore we have 9 equal to qx squared, this qx squared, plus negative bx squared. When it jumps across the equal sign, it will change and become a positive bx squared. So therefore we now have qx squared plus bx squared. If you can see clearly, all the terms in x are now grouped closer to each other, right? So therefore, at this point, we now need to factor out x squared, right? So because we have two terms in x, right? So 9 will be equal to x squared bracket q plus b. We factored out x. So when you're factoring out, you just put the common term out of the bracket. The common term now is x squared. I put x squared out of the bracket. So x squared into qx squared. X squared will cancel x squared, leaving us with q, this q, plus x squared into bx squared. X squared will cancel out x squared, leaving us with b. So we now have q plus b in the bracket, right? So therefore, at this point, you are almost finished, right? So you divide both sides by q plus b. We're dividing all the sides with what you do to the right hand side, you do to the left hand side, right? So we are now dividing everything in the equation with what's in the brackets. What's in the bracket is q plus b, right? Q plus b here, and we divide by q plus b here. So q plus b will cancel out q plus b, leaving us with 9 over q plus b equal to x squared, right? At this point, x is almost the subject of the formula now. Okay, so what's left is only to remove the power 2, this power, right? So therefore, we are going to introduce the square root sign in order to get rid of the power. So therefore, we'll be left with x equal to the root of 9 over q plus b. So if you prefer, you can just let therefore x is equal to the root 9 over q plus b. So at this point you're done. X is equal to the root of 9 over q plus b. You're done. Okay, x is now the subject of the formula. X is now the subject of the formula. So let's move on to C. Okay, so I've copied down question 2 on a clean sheet, right? For working purposes, right? So question 2 is saying that b is equal to 2x minus 2 over 6x plus 3, right? So we need to make x the subject of the formula. So the first thing, when you have an expression of this nature, the first thing you do is to eliminate the denominator. How do we eliminate the denominator? So you eliminate by the denominator by multiplying with the denominator. The denominator is 6x plus 3. So we multiply the left-hand side of the equation by 6x plus 3. 6x plus 3, right, times 6x plus 3, right? I hope this is clear. So 6x plus 3 will cancel out 6x plus 3, right? Leaving us with b over b bracket 6x plus 3 equal to 2x minus 2, right? So simple expansion, I hope you know how to expand, right? b bracket 6x plus 3 is just the same with b bracket 6x plus 3, right? So simple expansion here, you know that we will end up with b will multiply this, b will multiply this term. Therefore, we will end up with 6bx, right? Oh, b times 6x will end up with 6bx plus b times 3 will end up with 3b equal to 2x minus 2, right? I hope this is clear now. So we are going to do some rearrangement now to put the terms in x closer to each other so that we can be able to make x the subject of the formula, right? So we have 6bx here and we have 2x here. So I'm going to fly this 2x across the equation and fly this 3b across the equation, right? So this is a positive 2x. When it flies across the equation, across the equal sign, it will become a negative 2x. Therefore, leaving us with 6bx, right? This 6bx. When this flies across the equal sign or change sign, this is a positive, will become a negative 2x equal to what? Equal to negative 2. This negative 2 has been left alone. Okay, minus this term, positive 3bx is also flying across the equal sign. So this is a positive 3b. Sorry, I said 3bx earlier. This is 3b. Positive 3b, when it flies across the equation, it will become negative 3b. Right? So we are at this point in our equation now. So we have two terms in x, right? So the next step is to what? Is to factor out, right? We have an x and we have an x here. So we're going to factor out x, right? You put the common term outside the bracket, right? So x is the common term. I've put x outside the bracket, and we are trying to make x the subject of the formula, by the way. So therefore, at this point now, x into 6bx, x will cancel out this x will cancel out this x, leaving us with 6b. And x into negative 2x, x will cancel out x, leaving us with negative 2, right? Equal to what? Equal to negative 2, negative 3b, right? So at this point now, we are now going to divide both sides by what's in the brackets, which is 6b minus 2. Therefore, divided by 6b minus 2, divided by 6b minus 2, right? So 6b minus 2 will cancel out 6b minus 2, leaving out with x equal to negative 2 minus 3b over 6b minus 2. So at this point, you're done. X is now the subject of the formula, right? You're done. Okay, so we've moved on to question 2 now. So question 2 is saying make r the subject of the formula now. It's no longer x, it's now r, right? So we have f is equal to gm over r squared, right? So I've told you that the first step, whenever there is a fraction in the terms, the first step is to eliminate the denominator. So how do we eliminate the denominator? So let me write down the question. So f is equal to gm over r squared. So we need to eliminate the denominator, right? To eliminate the denominator. So to eliminate the denominator, we multiply each term. We multiply each term by r squared, which is the denominator, right? So r squared will cancel out each other here, leaving us. So r squared will cancel out r squared. R squared will cancel out r squared, leaving us with r squared times f, which is r squared f equal to gm. Right? We want to make r the substitute formula. So therefore, we're going to divide both sides by f. Divide both sides by f. Right? F will cancel out f, leaving us now with r squared is equal to gm over f. Right? So r squared is equal to gm over f. Right? So, but still, you're almost done. But r is no substitute formula since this is r squared. So to remove this power, the power 2, we are going to introduce the square root sign both sides. Right? The square root of r squared is r. Therefore, r. So 2 will cancel out the square root sign, right? Leaving us with r equal to the root of gm over f. Right? Okay, so I'm running out of space here. Let's move on to question B. Question B is saying that t is equal to the root of e over r. So therefore, of which r is in the root now. We want to make r a substitute formula. So in order to eliminate the root, we introduce the square root sign. Square both sides, right? If we square both sides, t will become t squared. Then this 2 will cancel out the root sign, leaving us with t squared now equal to e over r. Right? We want to make r a substitute formula, right? Multiply both sides by r, right? So therefore, this r will cancel out this r, leaving us with rt squared equal to e. Rt squared equal to e now. Therefore, we are almost done. For r to be left alone, or for r to be isolated, divide both sides by t squared. T squared. Therefore, t squared will cancel out t squared. Therefore, r is equal to e over t squared. Then we are done. R is now the substitute formula.